Discuss a topic that affects just about every American family and often frustrates all of us as American families, and that's our cable or satellite TV service. For over a year now, Senator McCaskill and I have undertaken an investigation of the cable and satellite television industry. As many of you know, Senator McCaskill has been interested in this issue for many years from her role on the Commerce Committee. She'll talk about that. We both have a keen interest in making sure cable and satellite companies do the right thing by their subscribers. The subcommittee has reviewed literally thousands of documents and interviewed countless witnesses to learn more about the consumer practices of the 5 largest pay TV providers. This includes Comcast, Charter, Time Warner Cable, Dish Network, and DirecTV. Together, these companies serve more than half of all American households and nearly 3/4 of those who pay for television programming. Today's hearing will focus on those companies' billing and consumer service practices. Our joint report outlines troubling findings about the practices of 2 cable companies that have consistently failed to provide refunds to customers who they know they've overcharged, including thousands of people in my home state of Ohio. I'll talk about those findings in a moment. The second is a report issued by Senator McCaskill on a number of issues of interest to consumers: how pay TV companies disclose their prices, what these fees are for, and how they teach their employees to interact with and retain customers. And without objection, these reports will be made part of the record. During the course of the subcommittee's investigation, we discovered something about refunds that, frankly, I found hard to believe. As anyone with a cable or satellite subscription knows, when your bill arrives every month, it often has a long list of charges on it. I have a bill here in front of me. It's a pretty complicated bill. A base charge for the TV package, maybe $10 extra per month for HBO, equipment fees, and surcharges for the set-top boxes that you rent. Given how many millions of people get television service from these companies, it's inevitable that from time to time a customer will wind up getting charged for something by mistake. It happens. Same thing, by the way, happens in the grocery store checkout line sometimes. It's happened to me. Mistakes happen. We understand that. What matters in life is how you own up to your mistakes and make things right. What we discovered is that some cable and satellite companies are better than that, at doing that, than others. All of the companies before us have ways of identifying overcharges to customers and preventing them from happening in the first place. But what happens when they find out they've been overcharging someone for equipment that the customer doesn't actually have? The first thing they do, of course, is take it off the customer's bill going forward. All the companies before us know how to do that, but not all of them bother to go back and figure out when the overcharge started, calculate how much they owe the consumer, and give them a refund. During the time period examined by the subcommittee, Time Warner Cable and Charter Communications, who have just recently merged with each other, made no effort to trace equipment overcharges they identified and provide refunds to their customers. Instead, their practice has been to just pocket the past overcharges. To understand the scale of this problem, we asked Time Warner Cable for specific numbers about overcharges in our home state of Ohio. Here's what we found. During the first 5 months of 2016, this year, Time Warner Cable overbilled up to 11,000 customers in Ohio, and those overcharges totaled over $100,000. Time Warner Cable further estimates that throughout last year alone, it overbilled 40,000 Ohio customers with overcharges of more than $430,000. And rather than correct the mistake by refunding the overcharges, the company just kept the money. So confusing. In my view, that's a ripoff of Ohio consumers. And I'll be asking the company today how they're going to fix it. Specifically, when Time Warner Cable discovered the overcharges, it only dealt with the problem prospectively. It took erroneous charges off customers' bills going forward, but did not provide any backward-looking refunds, and did not even provide notice to customers so they could investigate the problem themselves. They just kept the money. Based on data provided to the subcommittee, Time Warner Cable will overbill its customers nationwide an estimated $2 million for equipment charges in 2016, even after discovering these billing errors, will fail to do the work required to provide a full refund. We'll talk about that. Time Warner Cable has recently been acquired, I said, by Charter Communications, so I'm hopeful the new company will work quickly to fix this problem. But Charter has had problems of its own. Until August of 2015, that would be last summer, the company did not run any systematic audits to reconcile its billing records with equipment records. That means overcharged customers could not even receive a prospective correction of their bill unless they spotted the problem themselves and contacted Charter. Just recently, Charter began taking steps to identify equipment overcharges currently on its system. But even though it has identified overcharges, removed erroneous charges from future bills since August 2015, until today, Charter has not provided any refunds or notice of the problem to customers, just like Time Warner Cable. It doesn't have to be this way. Our investigation revealed that Comcast, DirecTV, and Dish have had better practices. Comcast and DirecTV provide automatic refunds or credits to customers who have been overcharged by their billing systems, while Dish's billing system is designed and apparently has been successful in preventing any of these types of overcharges from occurring in the first place. So feasibility, in my view, is not a good excuse as to failing to refund customers when they've been overcharged. We do have some good news to report today. As a result of our investigation, Charter and Time Warner Cable have taken steps to improve their practices. Time Warner performs a monthly audit to find overcharges. Going forward, the company will provide an automatic one-month credit to all customers for each piece of overbilled equipment or service, and it will provide notice to overbilled customers so they can determine whether to request a credit or a refund. That's a good start, but it doesn't make all customers whole. Time Warner Cable has not yet committed to do anything for the 40,000 Ohio customers, for instance, who were overcharged last year. And we'll get into that discussion later today. Charter has announced that starting today it will provide a one-year credit to all affected consumers. That, of course, goes further to make customers whole, but what would be better is simply to ensure that customers receive the full refunds that they're owed. Senator McCaskill's report shows that Americans are often unhappy with their cable and satellite service. Questionable customer service techniques and confusion surrounding billing practices have led consumers to feel mistreated. I support her effort to get to the bottom of these issues, and I believe the best solution to the problem of our poor customer service is more competition in the pay TV industry. Regulations have their place, but what's really needed is for consumers to have more options, more competition in the market. If you don't like your television service provider, you should be able to choose a different provider that suits your needs and suits your preferences. And Senator McCaskill and I are both interested in continuing to examine how the industry can be improved to create more choices.